All right, for every single SAP professional out there, listen up. I've got some massive news. If your whole strategy for getting certified has been, memorizing multiple choice questions, well, that era is officially over. SAP is completely changing the game, and by 2026, the exams you're used to are basically disappearing. So, what in the world does this mean for you? And how can you get ready? Let's get into it. So, in this explainer, we're going to cover everything you need to know. First, the big 2026 shift itself. Then, the two new exam paths you're going to have to choose from. We'll talk about the tricky new open book rules, one admin step you absolutely have to take now, and finally, how you can actually keep your hard-earned certifications valid in this new world. Okay, so first things first, the biggest change of them all. SAP is officially moving away from those theory-based exams to a purely performance-based certification model. And what's so interesting here is the shift in philosophy, right? We're going from a world where you just have to prove you could remember stuff to a world where you have to prove you can actually apply it. This is all about validating real, hands-on, applied skills, the kind of thing you'd actually do on a project. And hey, don't think this is some far-off future plan. The phase rollout for these new practical exams already kicked off back in November 2025. SAP's goal is to get all certifications moved over to this new format by the second quarter of 2026. So yeah, the clock is definitely ticking. Okay, so this new model brings in two totally different exam paths, and the one you end up taking is going to depend entirely on your job role. We're talking about system-based versus scenario-based assessments. And honestly, this split here makes a lot of sense. If you're in a technical role, say a developer or an admin, you're going to get the system-based assessment. You'll be doing hands-on work, coding, configuring. But if you're in a more consultative role, like a solution architect, you'll get the scenario-based assessment. That's all about testing your ability to design and then explain a solution. So what does a system-based exam actually feel like? Well, imagine this. You're given a list of tasks, and then you log directly into a live SAP environment to get them done. It's not about theory anymore. It's a real, practical test of your ability to do the work, all under a time limit. The process itself is pretty straightforward. You enroll, which gets the system ready, then you get to review your assigned tasks. After that, you access the live system, do the work, and when you're all done, you hit confirm to submit it. But you need to know these two crucial pro tips. First, that confirm button, it's final. Once you click it, the exam is over. You can't go back into the system. And second, the timer is absolutely relentless. It starts and it does not stop, so any breaks you take are just eating into your exam time. Now, for the consultants and architects out there, things are going to look pretty different. The scenario-based assessment gives you a real-world business problem. Your job isn't to configure anything. It's to design a solid solution and then explain and defend the choices you made. And this is where you can really see how different this new format is. You actually get two options for how you present your solution. Option one is an AI-guided roleplay where you literally pitch your solution to an AI avatar that acts like a stakeholder. The second, more traditional option is to just record a video of your presentation and upload it for a human expert to grade. Just a quick word of warning here. The AI option, it's a really cool concept, but it's still new. We've heard from some early users who ran into major technical problems and instability, getting locked out with error messages just like this one. So if you decide to play it safe and go with the human review option to avoid those tech glitches, just be prepared to wait. The official word is that it can take up to 20 business days. That's basically a full month to get your results back. Which brings us to another huge change, the exam rules. These new practical exams are non-proctored and they're open book. But as you're about to see, this might be both a blessing and a curse. Because the exam is supposed to be like real-world work, you're actually allowed to use the resources you'd normally have on a project. We're talking the SAP Help Portal, the SAP Learning Site, and even SAP's AI assistant Joule. So this leads to the question that, let's be honest, everyone is thinking. If I can look everything up and nobody is watching me, doesn't that just make the exam easier? And the answer is a big, fat no. This whole open book thing is really a trap for anyone who isn't prepared. Think about it. With a strict timer of maybe 2 or 3 hours to finish complex, hands-on tasks, you just won't have time to research every single step. You have to know your stuff cold and only use those resources for quick lookup. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the single most important administrative thing you need to do right now. It all comes down to your SAP Universal ID. Just to even register for these new exams and make sure your certifications are tracked the right way, you must have an SAP Universal ID, and it has to have a minimum of 2 email addresses linked to it. And here's why this is so critical. By linking your personal email with your corporate S-user email, your certifications get tied to you, not to your employer. So when you change jobs, your entire certification history comes with you. If you don't do this, you seriously risk losing access to your own credentials. And finally, let's talk about what happens after you pass. Because in this new world, getting certified is not a one-and-done kind of deal anymore. Your certification will now expire. To keep your certification active, you now have to pass an annual Stay Certified assessment. It's just a short, open-book quiz that covers the Delta knowledge, basically all the key updates and changes to the software from the last year. But here's the catch, and trust me, it's a big one. To get access to these mandatory annual assessments, you usually need an active SAP Learning Hub subscription. If you let that subscription lapse, you can't take the short quiz, and your only option to stay certified at that point is to retake the full practical certification exam all over again every single year. So there you have it. The entire landscape of SAP certification is being rebuilt around practical, applied skill. The days of just memorizing answers are gone, and they've been replaced by a demand to prove what you can actually do. So the only real question left is, are you ready?